high school enrollment, and other programs. Um, where we've had, thanks to so much generous support from faculty, institutions, partners, like some of the ones on the call and the other approved partners in this program, and many others, we've really had a lot of impact. And California happens to be our largest adopting state, and we're just very appreciative of all the usage that we get there. And we always want to help and support all users everywhere in this program and outside of it. So we have ample support, and we're always glad to provide that. Our textbooks, if you're not familiar with them, are textbooks that meet the general course topics, outcomes, scope, and sequence of the typical course. We don't develop a textbook on our own. We develop it with faculty, aligned to what they're teaching, how they're teaching, and we also think about what they're going to be teaching in the future. How is that course changing? What new topics are coming in? What new standards are coming across? How are other teaching methods being impacting in other technologies? I won't read all the slides to you, but we write the books with faculty and industry leaders. There's extensive review. We're always improving and doing updates, publishing in multiple formats and platforms. Talk about that in a little bit. The books are openly licensed and customizable, and they're available and they're created by this team of instructional designers and software engineers and illustrators, editors. I'll talk about that in a bit, but there's a lot of folks that get behind this, including many authors in California, and reviewers who have taken part. And we also, OpenStax is also a research organization, and we undertake intensive and extensive educational research. These are the books that we offer. There's a lot in this slide, but science, math, business, humanities. Just as a note, to kind of talk about things that might not be freely available on our site, we are developing books in nursing. We have an extensive series that will finish publishing by about September, of 8 textbooks, and then we have additional books coming out later in the year in lifespan behavioral neuroscience and then in computer science. And I'm going fast, so you can get to all of this on the subjects page at openstax.org. If anybody needs it. But we cover these books. They're widely adopted and in many institutions within California already. And of course, we love to support greater usage however it comes to pass. The textbooks are only one part of it. We have our assignable LMS tool. It's a quick and easy, convenient course setup that can integrate into Canvas, Blackboard, D2L, Moodle, and other systems that use LTI. We also provide LMS course cartridges. I really should say, I should have had this on the slide, but these course cartridges were envisioned and initially developed through the California Community College's CVC program. Very important effort that started to take place in, I think, around 2017, 2018, and went through the COVID period. And was a great lift for people using it, especially during that COVID time and beyond. And we have other assets as well. This is the part we don't often, kind of talk about regarding OpenStax, but all these folks that work on developing the books, improving the books, and integrating them into different programs in colleges and systems. Are made up of a lot of professionals with a lot of expertise, and that goes from everything from developing the books to marketing and promoting it, to undertaking research on any interventions or new methods or things that can go in and around the books, and producing on behalf of the stuff we have or for others. So we undertake the writing, reviewing, customizing, project management, curriculum mapping. We help with student support, we do events, and so on. I'm gonna just kind of go through some examples of that. This slide, I kind of want to start on focus on, there's a lot here going on here, sorry. Just kind of focusing on the left-hand side. So one of the things that we also have is our material in many of our other formats, beyond just a straight textbook or that might be the way you get it. So it's online, everybody can get to it via a link, that's the easiest way. We have assessment items, ancillaries, our assignable LTI tool. All the books are available as Google Word docs, and these are the final produced books. It's not that we took the manuscript and posted it. We made the books, did all the work on it, all the review, accuracy checking, copy editing, art, then we re-exported to Google and Word docs. So those are highly usable. XML, HTML, we can give you the images in various formats and so on. And these are just the OpenStax formats. We take the being a part of the OER community very seriously, and we really want to make it, we can't do everything, and we don't try to. So there's others who do so much more with our books, right? Other of the assistant partners. Obviously, John's here from Pressbooks. There's a lot of OpenStax content on Pressbooks, and we love that it's there. And if that's the best way for you to interact with it or customize it, that's awesome. Same thing with LibreText and other organizations as well. So, please just, whatever's the best way for you to use this material, use it. And that's what people have done. People have used these different resources in different ways. They've used it for educational research. They've created distance learning or different types of courses, using our books, combining our books with their materials. They've created multimedia and interactives. There's YouTube channels and H5Ps and stuff based on this material. And there's some that have gone robust, like Texas A&M redid the entire biology art program using graphic design interns that they had in their school, partnered with faculty. UConn created the Adams First version of our chemistry book, and so on. So there's a lot of opportunities there, and we've helped in these teacher education projects, these assistance projects in different ways. This is examples. We were a part of some formalized technical assistance or assistance projects similar to this for OER creation and improvement. One of them is around teacher education, taking our books and mapping them to all the teacher cert competencies, Praxis and EC6 and things like that, so that teachers, prospective teachers, pre-certification teachers could get the benefit of the background knowledge provided by OpenStax. We don't have education textbooks, we don't do educational methods, so we don't cover that, but we cover other things. So how do we, the project was to integrate that. We've done a lot on co-rec math, setting up the project for adaptation, helping work out the timing and the scheduling of when the different reviewers would come in and how that would work out over it was an 18-month project and stuff like that. Same thing, similar in writing across the curriculum. And we ran we supported a pretty robust student internship project with Albany State, where they had all their business students were interacting with their course materials, including OpenStax, but beyond OpenStax, and talking about how they felt their belonging representation in the course materials and the assessments, so that they could give feedback to their instructors and to OpenStax directly on how we could improve on that front. Other things that we've done, events and workshops, state level and localized OER festivals and events, EdTech showcases. We haven't done one of those in California, but we did it at College of Southern Nevada last year. And we've done a couple at other colleges where we bring together a whole bunch of EdTech companies, and they work on, and it's free for instructors, and they work on, showcasing those to faculty and to instructional designers and to IT administrators and so on. And then, but mostly what OpenStax does is the OER development itself, and we're able to help with that, project planning, review management, supplementing, bringing teams together. And then if you are creating OER and you need marketing support or piloting or educational research or efficacy studies or things like that, we have a pretty deep network, and we're just here to share. So it's just how can we get that across to you all, so that you can you can get your materials that you're developing or customizing out to others. And just on that last front, this is not, this kind of bridges the line between what might be assistance and not, but since we're talking to folks from a lot of schools who might have interest in this, OpenStax, like I said, has a robust research team. They're separate from our development. We're not doing research in everybody who comes through, but we have programs that can enable educational research, efficacy studies, management of interventions. If anybody's interested in that or has that a part of your program, so we have two flavors of this. Kinetic is a pretty relatively lightweight, easy intervention that students can get into to take essentially Qualtrics surveys, but then about certain topics or subjects related to the course. Safe Insights is a pretty large scale research hub that the NSF is funding. And there's a lot of California institutions involved already, where we'll be able to have very high-end studies of students from different institutions working through specific interventions in courses. So a new way to teach, biology, or a new intervention in how we're teaching math or something like that. And then do that research across many institutions, but keeping all the student data very private. So that there's no danger of any personal identifying information getting out or anything like that. Everybody will be IRB approved at the individual institutions. And this is launching now. Kinetic is available today. Safe Insights just launched. And these are all parts of partnerships that we could bring to bear. If you have anything that's getting into that, hey, I want to test this out. I want to evaluate. I want to see the efficacy. This is stuff that our research team works on and is very interested in working on. That's my timer. I'll kind of go quickly through this. I'm going quick enough anyway, but we have OpenStax allies, which are our educational technology partners. These might not need to be a part of any sort of assistance program, but just if faculty are using typical educational technology products in their courses, such as WebAssign and Expert TA and XYZ for math and science, or LabStir in Carolina or something like that for labs, or Starry Night for astronomy. We have partnerships with all of them, and if the only thing we do there to help is just make introductions and make sure it's used well, that's what we'll do. But we'll do more than that if needed. And then I mentioned the assignables. So we have an LTI tool. We can help customize, set that up, but that's probably not really part of this program. But if anybody's interested in using an LTI tool to integrate OpenStax into their LMSs, OpenStax.org/assignable has that. So again, just really open to partnering in any way. You can contact me directly. We also have a customer service team that is support at OpenStax.org. But for these partnerships or anything like that, would be glad to be contacted directly and then bring the team to bear in whatever way they can help. So I will stop there. Hopefully I'm a little early. And I just so thank you for your time, and looking forward to any questions or needs you have. Thanks.
Anthony, yeah, that was just perfect. I really appreciate it. And I should mention that on the TAP website, on the external service provider page, all of these organizations, and we have 8 total, have contributed flyers that also has information, but I know that any of our presenters today would be pleased if you contacted them directly. But please feel free to put questions in the chat that you might have for Anthony on that great presentation. But for now, let's go ahead and continue with John from Pressbooks. John, would you like to share your screen?
Great, thanks, Judith. And thank you very much, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. If you're not familiar with Pressbooks, we are a user-friendly digital publishing program that we have tried to optimize for learning. So at the core of what we do, we provide an online content and courseware development platform, and we have been very active in the open educational movement. We do have many partners that use Pressbooks for their publishing purposes, and we try to support an online learning ecosystem. As Anthony mentioned, we try to be good partners with other providers, and you will find a lot of OpenStax material, most of it included in Pressbooks that have been adapted for purposes on specific campuses. But some where our partners are using that OpenStax material directly through their network so that students have access through maybe their own LTI connection. So yeah, what we try to do is we try to be an easy tool for people to import material in. And what we've done a couple of years ago is we brought out the Pressbooks directory, because what we heard from a number of our partners, again, is that they wanted to make their content more sociable and discoverable by other institutions. So through that, the Pressbooks directory was born. When I started with Pressbooks, it was just about 3 years ago, and I took this screenshot of the Pressbooks directory. And as you can see at the time, there was under 100 institutions that were publishing to the directory, and just over 2,000 books that were published at that time. I'm just going to go directly into the directory right now just to see. This is 3 years later. We doubled the number of organizations almost that are publishing to the directory, and we're up over 6,700 books. Now, these are all open access books, so they're publicly available, they're open access. They're not all openly licensed, so I want to pull that out, but the majority of them have a Creative Commons license. So they're going to be easy to use for anyone in class, just to use the web books. And they're also easy to copy, revise, remix, and redistribute with those Creative Commons licenses. We do have a number of curated collections where you can have a look through the curated collections that were pulled together by our customer experience team and are frequently updated. But there are more collections listed here, so you can see some of the great work that's being done in science and healthcare. Language learning is often a very vibrant community using Pressbooks. This is an interesting one for student-led OER, so open pedagogy projects. We have highlighted a number of those. So you can search the directory, hopefully to find something either to use in class or conversely to adapt somehow. So every Pressbooks book, and I'll just go into this first one here, just and hope that the authors have enabled it, but they have. Every Pressbooks book has, the author has the ability to enable downloads of this book. So this author has enabled the EPUB, digital PDF, and PDF formats to be downloaded. So you can download those and use them directly through your either LMS or distribute them to your students so that they can use them offline. Or again, the public web book. So there are a number of additional export formats that are available, and some, let me just go to another one here. I know that this book in particular lists all of our available export formats. So there are a number here, and it's up to the author which export formats they want to make available to students. Or to readers and other instructors. But what we hope to provide is a tool that you can easily export, whether you want to take it to another platform. That's completely something that can be done through a number of these different export formats. So just to go back to my presentation, so the webbook itself is WCAG, sorry, 2.1 AA compliant. We're working on updating our VPAT for that for the new 2.2, and that'll be out soon. But this is a very accessible format. And that's really what a lot of our partners really love about Pressbooks, is that it gives them the tools to provide an accessible reading experience for their students. We have integrated with every Pressbooks network H5 and the H5P hub. So there's actually over 50 different interactive activity types through H5P. And a number of wonderful ways that instructors have used the interactives to basically make a better product and better learning tool for their students. Just to go through, you can also you can use video, you can use other media. You can see here that this author on this book has a score that's available, but they also have included a recording of that score right within the web book. And this author here has actually on each chapter of this book, the author has a video of her actually performing the works that are being covered in that chapter. So she's got chapter openers, so she integrates with YouTube, and that's an easy thing to do using Pressbooks. We do support LMS integration. We have an LMS LTI 1.3 integration for our Pressbooks network so that you can integrate with Canvas, Moodle, Brightspace, and there's another one. Anthony, help me. What's the fourth one?
Blackboard.
Blackboard, yes. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate that. Had a brain cramp there for a second. But we integrate with all those so that you can bring your web book within the LMS. And we like to think of this as not just one-click learning for your students. They get that content directly through the LMS. But you can see that using the LTI 1.3 integration, authors are able to share private content that they wouldn't be able to share any other way without subscribing students to a book. So if you are working on a project and you're not quite ready to release it to the world and make it public, you can use the LMS integration to share that work with your students to get feedback as you're working on the content. We're very engaged in the open education movement that I talked about. These are just some of the great institutions that have partnered with Pressbooks. We are, as I said, on the directory up over 178 different institutions. We've calculated, sorry, that's networks, 178 different networks that are publishing to the directory. That we calculated that because there's groups like Open Washington, Open Oregon, Maricopa Community Colleges, where there's one network that's shared amongst a number of institutions. So it's up over 650 different institutions are using Pressbooks to support their publishing efforts. Different ways to access Pressbooks. I wanted to bring this up because there has been over the last little bit some confusion. Pressbooks, we have started to use it almost as a ubiquitous term. And there are two different main ways that people can access Pressbooks. Number one is we have Pressbooks self-publisher accounts. So we have a network that's set up. It's a self-serve network for self-publishers. There's a free trial available. You can write or import original content to your book. You can clone and adapt on that network from other openly licensed books. And you can, again, you get that WCAG 2.1 AA compliant digital book. You can include your book that you produce in the Pressbooks directory. So that you can boost this discoverability. We have integrated with MathJax so that you can include accessible math notation. And you can also allow social annotation with hypothesis through any Pressbooks book. And there's 18 different premium themes on the self-publisher account that you can customize the appearance of your book with. You also are able on the self-publisher accounts now to view the page view and traffic analytics for your book. So you can see where it's being used. You can see how many page views you're getting, which is great information to have at the author level. And then we also support Pressbooks enterprise accounts. So those are the 178 different organizations that have a Pressbooks network set up. You're getting a secure, reliable, and hassle-free hosting of your Pressbooks network when you choose Pressbooks to support your publishing platform. You can customize and brand the network to your organization. So choose your own logo colors, your own URL, and you can showcase your organization's publications in a customizable network catalog. We recently updated our network catalog so that it looks similar to the Pressbooks directory. So you can see the web page of the book. You can see the cover of the book, and it really looks great. And a lot of we have a number of institutions that are just using the network catalog as the homepage for their institution, so that they are just showing off the great work that they've done. And again, when you have a network, Pressbooks Enterprise Network, you can monitor those interactive analytics about your network usage, your users, your books, and the analytics for the network home pages and all books on the network. Again, this is important information as you're building your case to support your open education publishing programs. These are the two different Pressbooks accounts that are available, the self-publisher and then the Pressbooks Enterprise accounts. The self-publisher accounts start out with a free trial. Anyone can try out Pressbooks, try the authoring and editing platform. You get a 7-day free trial, and you can publish a book today for free. We have solo author accounts that are $12 a month or $120 a year. And then a collaboration account, which is ideal for multiple authors or editors, and also includes access to that H5P hub. And then we have the institutional networks, both individual institutions and shared networks that are available for consortia. And through that, you get that customizable Pressbooks network for your institution, including that catalog that I spoke about. There are several links that I've included in the slides here to check out if you want, and I will be sharing that with Judith later. So thank you very much. I hope I'm not over time. I'm John McLeod. I'm a Pressbooks account manager. You can reach me at sales@pressbooks.com, and hope to hear from anyone who has questions about Pressbooks.
John, thank you so much. That was just perfect time-wise. And we did have a question come in for you in chat, if you would like to answer that in chat, or once Andy finishes his presentation, perhaps answer verbally. So everyone, keep those questions coming in chat. And I'd like to move on to our final presenter today, Andy from FeedbackFruits. Andy, would you like to share your screen?
Yes, thank you, Judith. Thank you, Jens. That was great. So I'm from FeedbackFruits. We are a pedagogical technology company, and we have been around for 10, 15 years now, with this mantra of pedagogy before technology. So seeing what institutions and companies worldwide are doing with pedagogy and teaching and learning, and how can we support that? Fun story, our CEO, and he's sitting right there, he started this company when he was in university, because at the time there was no way to give feedback to their teachers. And that was the first iteration of FeedbackFruits, and that's how we came about. Now we do completely different things, but that's the heart still lies there. So we are partnered with the Foundation of California Community Colleges and College Prize. And so we do have that partnership. We are working with Santa Ana College, Coastline College, and a couple others. And you'll see what we do with them just in a bit. We are based out of the Netherlands. So I am calling you from Amsterdam. It is 7:30 in the evening here, so this is my last meeting. I want to keep it fun for you and me. So let's get into it. So yeah, we do have 200 plus partner institutions. We have over 1 million users, and we're proud of that. So what we're trying to do, and I'm sure you all have seen the Bloom's taxonomy many times. Right? What we're trying to do is we see that these lower forms of the Bloom's taxonomy, they really develop these lower retention rates, and these passive learning strategies are unfortunately the ones we use the most because they are easy to implement. And so we're trying to move towards those higher order learning strategies that are more active, so that students can learn better, but also use that collaboration and critical thinking to develop skills that they'll need in the workplace. But yeah, this is time consuming and difficult, and that's what we are trying to do. And so Anthony and John, they've spoken about great stuff to find the right OER And there's some really, really good stuff that maybe even I stole for today's presentation. But we're really focused on the second and the third part of this, the enhancing the pedagogical value and sharing success through our learning community that we have. And so this is the entire list of tools that we have. We're not going to look at all of them. This is a lot. It's 16 different tools. We do call it the FeedbackFruits teaching and learning system. We have feedback and assessment solutions that are more to do with boosting authentic assessments and peer-to-peer learning and peer-to-peer feedback, and also offering more formative opportunities for feedback using AI, with the buzzword. I had to throw it in there. But then we also have the collaboration and engagement tools, which is what we'll be focusing on now. Some of the things that we've mentioned already, some of the other presenters have mentioned social annotations that are great to boost not just engagement and interaction and retention, but also help students feel like they belong and they have a community online, especially since COVID. That's the biggest thing that we have heard, where students feel like they don't belong, where they have their own spaces where they're working, but we're trying to make them at least come together in this space. And so we'll be looking at our interactive document, interactive audio, interactive video comprehension tools. These are really to help take existing OERs, put more discussions, put more quizzes in there. Also have a private annotation tool so that you can guide students a little bit better when you're asking them to read through these OERs. But then also, and towards the end, we'll get to it, where how we can use these different tools to create templates, shared libraries amongst departments or institutions. And then something that we're launching next week is our learning design community, which is a set of templates from all over the world, from the best institutions out there that we're trying to share with you all. And our hope is that we also have a bunch of OER related templates that utilize some of these interactive elements. All right, so what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to jump into Canvas and show you what our tools look like, because I think that is the best way to see it. So I'm looking at this as a student first, and let's jump into one of the activities that appear as an assignment. So it's an LTI 1.3 plus API as well. We'll look at the comprehension tool first. So this is really to help students with private annotations, with recognizing and guiding them through a document or video. So they have to go ahead and recognize the themes that you as a faculty member set out for them. And so our tools are kind of in this iframe here. I'm going to full screen, but we're always in Canvas. So you as a faculty member would create it here. Students would access it here as well. Then we see some instructions left for us. And then here is the comprehension bit, where we see certain topics that we're required to identify within this. Now this book was taken from OpenStax. So Anthony, thank you. It's one of your chemistry textbooks. Really great stuff, guys. Please go check it out. I think there is some wonderful stuff out there. But as I go through and read this document, I can also see the different annotations or the different topics that I'm required to identify within this. And so this can be great for adult learners who are trying to come back into education, who you're trying to guide into education as to what is important within these. So here, the scientific method, I can mark it. I can also add an optional explanation if I want, attach different files to this, and then save it as well. But what I can also do is actually see my peers. So after I finish going through everyone, I can also see what my peers are saying. So it looks like student one is also saying the same thing, but she may be saying a different thing down below. And so this is really to help, again, with the student learning, with guiding those students. It can also be helpful for syllabi. I know a lot of the younger students don't pay attention to deadlines, grades, resources. It can be great to tell them, hey, go through this and identify these 5 things within your document. So that was the comprehension tool. Now we're going to get into how we use some of these social annotation bits for actually that part, the social part of things. So this is our interactive document, very similar to comprehension, except students are doing it together now. And so again, we have some instructions for us. We can see the in-document activities we have. So we have to view the document. We get a portion of the grade for that. We have 2 question cards. We have a discussion thread. We can open up this document. And as we read through it, we'll see some questions that have been left for us. Also question break, so we have to answer this before we can move on. So let's say I say this, it's wrong, I get a second attempt, and I get a portion of my score still. So you can use it as a kind of formative way where students wouldn't really get graded for their multiple choice. You can also use it for summative assessments as well. So that's really up to you. As I go through, I can also see some open questions that have been left for me that I can answer, and then I can see my teacher's correct answer and also what my peers are saying. And then I can move on to a discussion thread as well that has been, in this case, started by my teacher. And so I can see the different replies that my fun, fruity, pseudonym, anonymous peers have left. So the diligent violet apple and an amiable coral peach. I can reply to them. I can like it. I can also record a video file, audio file. This is also for accessibility's sake. All these videos will also have auto-generated captions. And then finally is the video part, so the interactive video. Everything that we've seen with the document now comes back to the video as well. So I can jump in, open a video. These videos, by the way, and these documents can also be taken from open links. So a lot of these I took from either OER Commons or from OpenStax, different places where you either download PDFs and upload them or have it open as a PDF on one screen, copy paste the link into FeedbackFruits and it appears here. And so as I watched through this video, I will see some, again, questions that have been left for me on the timeline. And so as I read through it, the video will pause and it'll ask me to answer this question. So again, great for, again, helping adult learners come back into the rhythm of things, telling them what's important within a video or a document. Also great for younger students who are probably scrolling on TikTok or whatever it is these days, or cooking in the kitchen, just telling them, hey, this is important. Maybe this is something that we should be focusing on. So again, I can reply to this, move on. I can also leave my own discussion threads. So I can start my own discussion threads as a student. This will be anonymous in this case, it doesn't have to be. And then I can write my comment and paste it for the rest of my peers to see. So it can be a query, it can be something I found interesting, it can be something I'm confused about, whatever it is, I have my peers to help me out. So really trying to help build that sense of community, even though students are doing these things, these activities by themselves. You want to help flip the classroom, of course, which is great. But here we're really trying to make students learn together and then have some analytics on the teacher side. And so if I jump on the teacher side, this can really help me with lesson planning. So I'll be able to see, so this is the interactive document activity from the teacher side. I'll be able to see the student progress, how are my students doing on each of these different activities? Where are they here? But then also, more importantly, where do the knowledge gaps lie? What do I need to focus on in the next class, right? So I can go through per question, see the answer scores, but also see the distractors. What are students really distracted about? And then I can come back to this. Maybe it's something that we need to pick up in the next class. So also trying to make the classes, make the one-on-ones more effective with the students. So that was a quick look at our tools, and something that's coming in the future, of course, is more AI, but this time it's really, really cool. You get to choose any of the different paragraphs that are within your OERs. It reads through the OER and the context of it, and it auto-generates questions, discussion threads, answer choices, so that you don't have to do that. And then, of course, you can review it and say yes or no. And so you also get different options to customize the questions before they're made. So do you want to flip the classroom? Do you want to encourage collaboration? Do you want to encourage perspective sharing? The AI will use that to essentially guide the way it creates these questions and discussion threads. And then finally is the FeedbackFruits library. So that tool that we just saw, the interactive document, interactive video, those are our most templated tools. And that also means that they're the most shared tools that we have. We often see that we have a couple of champion faculty, especially I'm looking in the chat, all of you who came here today are probably that. And they create all of these different OERs, but also interactivity within the OERs and share it with their entire department or share it with their entire institution. And now with the new learning design community that's coming up, share it with several different institutions. So we're really trying to build that shared community online. And that's where I'll leave you. We also have a few different resources that might give you a better perspective of what we do, but also might just help you out. So one of them is this ebook, Cultivating a Learning Community, that I'll just drop in the chat. But also some of the work that we may be doing around RSI and flipping the classroom and how we use our tools in tandem with each other to help achieve certain learning outcomes. So thank you so much. I'm just going to leave this here for a second, but yeah.
Andy, thank you so much. That's fantastic. And I want to say this is an example. These three organizations and these presenters who work at these amazing organizations, which is great examples of the kinds of supports that are available to everyone at California community colleges and beyond as you advocate and work in open education and as you're working towards creating, developing, and implementing ZTC degrees. And I do want to give a quick shout out and a thank you to Chad Funk from the Chancellor's Office for joining us today. Talk about amazing support that is available to the California community colleges. And I had already dropped in, but I'm going to do it again, some information for you, which includes the memo on the latest round of grants that are available to California community colleges, as well as the next monthly office hour that the Chancellor's Office, along with TAP, is providing. Chad, did you want to say anything before we see if there's any other questions? I don't want to put you on the spot, but just wanted to say we're just really glad you're here.
Judith, thank you so much for the acknowledgement. No, nothing to add, but I do appreciate the support.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It looks like we have got a question here from Amanda for John. Amanda Tainter actually is the lead for the coaches that we provide as a service to community colleges across California. So Amanda, so glad to see you here. But go ahead, John, if you wanted to address. And by the way, you could also go off mute if anybody wants to ask a question of our amazing presenters.
Sorry, I'm trying to, is it?
Here, where would we go to get the information for the LTI 1.3 integration?
Oh, so the 1.3 LTI integration is available for existing enterprise networks. Our support team will set that up for you. They'll enable the plugin and make sure that it's set up. We've just released a new LTI tool that enables dynamic registration in the LMS and works great in Canvas. So really easy to use, but our support team would be the best place to start. I'm happy to connect you with our support team just through the email that I shared earlier.
Thank you, John. And great question, Amanda. I also noticed we've got Amy Maloney here, who recently began co-facilitating monthly. I hope they're going to be monthly. I think that's the plan. ZTC and librarian office hours. So Amy, great to see you here. And you can get information about these sorts of things on our website, but also this information usually goes out via the amazing James Galapagos-Glog, who is the lead for the ZTC TAP program, usually goes out on the ZTC list. So just so you know. No worry, Amanda. Thank you. I saw that. We understand. Good for you for going to the gym. I got to still go today. So we've still got quite a bit of time. So if anybody, yeah, thank you, Amy. Good. Thanks for confirming those office hours. We've still got some time here. If anybody wants to go off mute, ask questions, make any observations about these amazing supports that are available to you. And while we're waiting, I'm just going to go ahead and pop in the next two webinars that we have in this series on the TAP external service providers. I'm going to pop that into chat, and you can see who else we'll be featuring. Just any other questions, comments? Well, oh, here we go. Good. No questions for now. Okay, thank you, Katrina. Thank you for the overview for this first timer. Oh, good, Katrina. I mean, I'm sure we've got folks at all kinds of levels of knowledge of the kinds of supports that are provided here, but I really appreciate that, Katrina. Thanks so much for all three presenters. And thank you for Judith. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure to facilitate. So I just want to thank our presenters again today, and thank you for all the work that you support the field of open education. And please don't hesitate to reach out to any of them. Again, we will be recording of this webinar, although I'm afraid I started the recording a bit late because I was having some technical difficulties, but we'll get that on our website as well as the slides from our presenters today. Any last words from our presenters?
Thank you, Judith. We appreciate it.
Thank you
very much, Judith. I'm really appreciative of the work you're doing and the work that is being done around the state.
Yes, thank you all. Thanks everybody for joining, and thanks Judith for setting this up and everybody for supporting it. Looking forward to speaking more.
Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, John. Everybody, take good care of yourselves, and maybe we'll see you at the next webinar. Bye-bye.